I'm Pamela Manners, Chair of the Commission on School Accreditation. This regular scheduled meeting of the Commission on School Accreditation is being held today, Thursday, December 7th, 2023, at 10 o'clock a.m. via teleconference from the Senator Gray Terrace Boardroom, 359 Northwest Street, Jackson, Mississippi. The meeting is being live streamed via the MDE YouTube channel. An audio recording is being used at this meeting, and minutes of this meeting will be recorded. As I call the names of the Commission members, please state the location of your presence for this meeting. Dr. Lauren Bailey.
Present, Pearl, Mississippi.
Thank you. And I've spoken to Kelly Barfield. Are you on now, Kelly?
Yes, Kelly Barfield, President, Atlanta.
All right, thank you. Laurie Brexel.
She's not on.
Okay. Anthony Bryan.
Present, Tupelo, Mississippi.
Thank you. Dr. Carla Evers.
Present, as Christiane, Mississippi.
Thank you. Reginald Bowen.
Present, Sarah, Mississippi.
Thank you. Dr. Tyler Hansford.
Present, Decatur, Mississippi.
Thank you. Jefferson Hughes, I believe, is absent. I'm Pam Manners, and I'm in Biloxi. Dr. Valencia Martin.
Present in Greenwood, Mississippi.
Thank you. Aisha Maxwell.
Present, Horn Lake, Mississippi.
Thank you. Brad Stevens. Jan Vaughn.
Good morning, Greenville, Mississippi.
Thank you. Sarah Wilbur.
Present, Ellisville, Mississippi.
You and Ingrid Williams.
Present, Clinton, Mississippi.
Thank you. A quorum of the Commission is present for the purpose of conducting this meeting. The meeting is called to order at 10:04 a.m. Our next item is the adoption of the agenda. Commission members, you've received a copy of the agenda. At this time, I'll entertain a motion for the approval of the agenda. Please identify yourself for the record, and may I have a motion, please, to approve the agenda?
Carla Evers, I move approval of the agenda.
All right, thank you. May I have a second, please?
Dr. Valencia Martin, I second.
I had Dr. Valencia Martin, who I believe I heard first, so for the second. All right, is there any discussion about the agenda? All right, if not, then all those in favor, please say aye.
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 Aye. Aye. Aye.
Any opposed? All right, the motion carries. We're on to item 3, which is an action item, the approval of the minutes of the September 28, 2023 meeting of the Commission on School Accreditation. Again, at this time, I'll entertain a motion to accept the minutes from the September 28, 2023 meeting of the Commission on School Accreditation. And once again, please identify yourself as you make the motion.
Sarah Wilborn, I make a motion.
Thank you. May I have a second, please?
Jan Vaughn, second.
Thank you. Is there any discussion about the minutes from September 28th? All right, if not, then all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. Motion carries. Item number 4, that's the approval of the minutes of the October 26, 2023 special called meeting of the Commission on Accreditation. And once again, I will entertain a motion to accept those minutes from October 26, 2023. Please identify yourself as you make the motion. May I have a motion, please? Kelly, okay. Barfield. And may I have a second, please?
Second, Lauren Bailey.
Thank you, Dr. Bailey. Is there any discussion about the minutes from October 26th? All right, then at this time, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, thank you. That motion carries. Item number 5 is a discussion for the proposed revisions to Mississippi Admin Code 7-24, Mississippi Public School Accountability Standards 2023, specifically Appendix F. Dr. Jackie Sansel, State Assessment Director, will present the information to us. Good morning, Dr. Sansel.
Good morning, Ms. Manners and Commission, members of the Commission. First of all, I just want to say that the Office of Student Assessment has worked on revising Appendix F for the past several years, ever since I've been here, but we've never finished. So we had COVID, of course, and different things happened to our offices, and we had changes in personnel, so we've just never, ever gotten this going the way we should have. But with the help of some retired past student assessment directors, and some DTCs, we made another effort in June to get this started, and now we're about ready to get it presented to the board. So what we've done is we've revised and cleaned up many things, but we did try to keep the overall layout of the previous one. It has been updated, organized, and we also categorized it for clarity and easier reading and finding information. We did not include revisions to Section 5, the investigation section, at this time, because we have ongoing test security investigations from spring 2023, so we're holding off on this portion for now. We will not make major changes to this section in the future, but we would like to organize it better, and update it just a little bit to make it match what we do today. So why do we need to update Appendix F? I'm not going to give you every reason, but I'm just going to point out a few things. First of all, we are right now in Mississippi 100% computer-based testing. These standards do not have security practices for the materials that we use today, the former previous version. You can see under the first page of Appendix F in your handout, if you look at secure test materials, I think you can see it at the bottom of the screen right now. These definitions are very different for secure test materials. We limit our test booklets now. We have very limited. We do not have answer documents. Our students are required to have a 504 IEP or ESL plan to justify needing hard copy documents for we do have them available, but they're very limited. Also, electronic devices have changed greatly since our last version. We use the words iPod, MP3 players, personal assistant devices, PDAs. They're not prevalent today at all. So we encompass the future by defining these as electronic devices. And I want to thank you, Ms. Manners, for helping us, for your comments on consistency prior to this meeting. They were very helpful.
Oh, you're very welcome.
Okay, they were helpful. So we had test security plans due in September in the previous Appendix F. Due to our high turnover rate of DTCs, we need this plan prior to school starting, and as we know, school starts in different times in different districts. So we're trying to propose a January to January plan that can be revised. If fall testing changes, and they probably will be, it would be easier for the district to have a plan in place and make an addendum before the fall testing starts to capture any of those changes in personnel, locations, and timelines. And lastly, we have references to the manuals that are no longer relevant in this Appendix F. We have English learner proficiency test guidelines that does not follow the USDE, the United States Department of Education guidelines any longer. So we had to have some revisions. So what we're doing is we're going to finalize a new guidebook for district and school test security plans that we hope to release in spring for use next school year. And we're planning right now to take this document to the board in January. We want to go out for APA, and we'll make other additional necessary changes. I want you to know this has been a massive undertaking because we tried to peel it apart and put it back together. We wanted to provide a framework that's based not only on the United States Department of Education guidelines, but also follow our state laws and State Board of Education rules. We didn't get down in the weeds to specific things, but we wanted to lay out the overall standards that we need to ensure testing is going to be cohesive and in unity across the state of Mississippi. And we know we've left some things out. So like, for example, the word must is going to be one thing that may be possibly changed before we go to the board even. But in this document, it's used many, many times, I think about 30 plus. But our legal team would like to change the word must in certain cases to shall. And if you look at the requirements section on the next page, Joanne, can you scroll
I
down?
think
It may
I'm
be
already
up,
there.
it
I
may
think
be
I'm
up
already
some.
on there,
Okay,
yeah.
it's up some, you've already gotten there. Okay, like you'll see that the first one under responsibilities of the district test coordinator, the DTC, it says the DTC must be appointed by the district superintendent. They would like to change that to the DTC shall be appointed to the district superintendent to make it consistent with other legal documents that we were not aware of when we first started this. So that may be happening. So we know we may have some more feedback and more relevant things that may need to be added. So that's my basic presentation, and I'll open it up for questions if y'all have any questions or discussions.
Commission members, do you have any questions for Dr. Sansel, or comments, suggestions about the proposed revision?
This is Anthony Bryan and Chief Lowe. I had one question. If you look under section 4, under requirements, under test materials, number 5C, where it states, while secure test materials are in the district or in the school, anyone listed as having access to the secure area must be accompanied by a second test security trained person when entering the secure storage area. Does that apply to DTCs as well?
Yes, we do require DTCs to have a second person there when they open the boxes. Now, if they're in a taped box, there's no reason for anybody to, if you're just going into the room where they're stored, there's no reason to have but one person there. But if you're taking them out, the secure materials, and again, you have to understand, we don't have a lot of hard copy booklets, but we do have we are required to print our login tickets now. I mean, that's one of the big changes that we have with computer-based testing. And those are very, very secure. And a lot of times these are left behind in testing rooms. So that was one thing we wanted to update. So anytime anybody goes in to add, print out and add in those test login tickets to go into the test to put it in a package to sign out to the TA and proctor, we'd like to have those, like to have two people involved with those. We don't want anybody snapping a picture of somebody's login ticket with a cell phone.
Okay, yes, I understand, and I think my point, was, having the DTC file, because the nature of the DTC position, they're privy to confidential information, just the nature of that position in itself, and, asking them to have someone with them each time they're carrying out the responsibilities of their job. But you explained that very well. Thank you for clarifying that.
Okay, you're welcome.
Are there any other questions or comments?
Carl Anders, I have a question. Under the definitions at the very beginning under SPC, I was wondering if we need you to add a note there about counselors not being able to serve in that capacity, even as assistants. I'm understanding the rules around counselors correctly.
Okay, I believe that's mentioned in another section. We probably will be putting that into our test. We're going to have some sort of test administrator guidelines booklet coming out again with our test security plans, instructions and things like that later, and that would probably go there. But it's already in our accountability standards in another section. But that's a great idea. We'll take that. I'll write that down.
Any other questions from commission members? No, if not, then we will move ahead. Oh, go ahead.
Okay, I do have a question about the 30 days, having to have the security plan and everything in place for 30 days prior to testing. And I know that with Matt, that is pretty tight for the most part, but I know that previously it's been 2 weeks before. Why did we change to 30 days?
You can
And I'm
alter,
trying to find the text right now. I can't remember exactly where it was, but I read that, and I wanted to just ask.
well, I don't think we specified the time here, in this document, but we are looking at trying to, we allow the plan itself is due will be due in January. So that's, the overall
Yeah.
plan, the basic plan. But when we're trying to get our test schedules, I think it may be what you may be referring to.
That's what I'm talking.
Okay,
I'm talking about the access schedule.
right. And we allow you to change those as needed constantly. If you have a general schedule, and then you can give us more specific dates, but we use those schedules to schedule visits and to your school, and we kind of need to make that plan ahead of time. So that's why we request that. But, you can change this, like, for example, we had an electrical problem this morning in a school district, and we got a call, and and they're not testing today. So if we had an auditor go into that district, as soon as they notified us, we could call them and say, hey, they're not testing. So you can turn around and come back. But, we have people driving 2 and 3 hours sometimes to go to audit. So, and we audit randomly. It's not, don't think when an auditor shows up in your district that means something you've done something bad to, merit an auditor coming to you. We do that, we do that deliberately sometimes, and sometimes we do it just at random, because we try to get to every school district around the state, at least one school. But yes, you can go ahead and put it in and make those changes as needed. And that's what we're just trying to set a target. We find out that if we set the target and we can't make it, then we may need to make some adjustments. But I don't think we're going to put that in this type of document that's kind of based on state law.
Thank you. Any other comments or questions for Dr. Sensel? No? All right. Then at this time, we'll move to item number 6, and that is the approval to submit a request to the State Board of Education to approve a temporary rule and to begin the Administrative Procedures Act process to revise Mississippi Admin Code 7-24, Mississippi Public School Accountability Standards 2023, specifically Appendix F. At this time, I'll entertain a motion to submit that request to the State Board of Education to approve a temporary rule and begin the APA process to revise Mississippi Admin Code 7-24, Mississippi Public School Accountability Standards 2023, specifically Appendix F. May I have a motion, and please identify yourself for the record.
Anthony Bryant, motion.
Thank you, Mr. Bryant. And may I have a second, please?
Lauren Bailey, second.
All right, thank you, Dr. Bailey. Is there any discussion before we go to a vote? All right, if not, then all those in favor of submitting the request to the State Board of Education, please say aye.
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 Any opposed? All right, the motion carries. Thank you all very much. Thank you, Dr. Sansell.
Thank y'all, appreciate it.
And we're on to item 7, and that's other business. Dr. Malone will have a discussion of whether or not we would like to vote to move the time, not the days, of the remaining meetings to 8:30 in the morning versus 10 in the morning. Dr. Malone.
Yes, thank you. So in one of our previous meetings that we had at 8:30 in the morning, you guys had expressed an interest in moving our regularly scheduled meeting times from 10 o'clock to 8:30, now that we are pretty much doing everything virtually. 10 o'clock has just been the norm for years and years, to allow everyone time to travel to Jackson. So I just wanted to put it back on the table. We couldn't vote at the last meeting for it because it was a special called meeting, but now that we're in a regularly scheduled meeting, I just wanted to bring it back to the floor, to see if it is something that you guys are interested in doing. We have 3 more regularly scheduled meetings, scheduled. That's February 1st, April the 4th, and June the 6th. So I will leave it up to you guys to discuss now to see if it's something you want to do, or if y'all want to leave them at 10 o'clock, that's fine too.
All right, does anyone have anything they'd like to add to that? If you would like to move it to 8:30 or not? Let's just discuss it. I know some of us said 8:30 was fine. What do y'all think?
Dr. Malone, are any of the remaining, this is Carl Adams, I'm sorry. Are any of the remaining meetings in person?
So at this time, we don't really have anything in particular on the agendas for February 1st, April the 4th, or June the 6th. So that's really kind of a hard question to answer. If we were to need to have a special called where we would need you specifically in person, then we would tell you, when we would take that into consideration if we had a special called. But as far as the regularly scheduled upcoming meetings, we don't really know what those agenda items are going to be at this point.
Which one is easier for those of you who are still reporting to a school or an admin site or to a workplace? Which is easier for you? 8:30 as you just get to work, or is it better to do it in the mid-morning at 10? I'm retired, I can do either. So what do y'all
Conference, I prefer 8:30.
8:30, all right, that's for a couple, anyone else?
I would like
do,
8:30 is good with me too, Anthony Bryant. 8:30 is fine with me.
8:30 fine.
All right, let's do a little straw poll. How many of you would like to move it to 8:30? Let's just say aye. How many of you would do that? Aye. Aye. All right, and who is opposed to moving it to 8:30 or just ambivalent? Looks like we'll move it to 8:30. All right, everybody okay with that? We can always change it though if the State Department has something coming up that we're going to need that time and move it back to 10 o'clock, I think. But
All right, so let me check and see if we need an actual motion. Yes, okay. So, Mr. Dennis is saying, yes, we need someone to actually make the motion to move it.
okay, may I have a motion, please, to move the remaining meeting times to 8:30 a.m. And please identify yourself as you make that motion.
Chair Wilborn, so moved.
Thank you. May I have a second?
Warren Bailey,
Dr. Bailey. All right. Any discussion? All right. At this time, then, we will vote. All those in favor of moving the time to 8:30 for the remaining commission meetings, please say aye. 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 Any opposed? All right, the motion carries. All right, and at this time, though, I would like to thank Mr. Jefferson Hughes for serving on the commission. He did not run for re-election as a school board member, and so we will be replacing that unexpired term. But we thank you very much for your service with the commission and your dedication, Mr. Hughes. His term expires in June.
Okay, my question is redesigned.
All right, we need everyone to mute yourself if you're not speaking. We can hear somebody talking. Yeah, so Mr. Hughes was not able to actually be on here with us today, last minute, but I will make sure that he, knows that we appreciate his service, for the past several years. The only other thing I have is, of course, now is just the reminder that the next regularly scheduled meeting is going to be Thursday, February the 1st, and based on the, action that you just took, that will be at 8:30 in the morning. So that's all we have on our end.
All right, thank you very much. So at this time, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
This is Dr. Martin. I motion that we adjourn.
Thank you very much, Dr. Martin, and may I have a second?
Second,
Carrie,
Tyler.
second. I heard Dr. Tyler Hansford first, I believe. All right, all those in favor of adjourning, please say aye. Aye. All right, the motion carries, and we are adjourning at 10:27, and I hope all of you have a great holiday time, get some rest, and enjoy the holiday for everyone, and I guess we'll see each other next year.